I'm going to show you how you can generate unlimited content ideas for videos or marketing using a n8n workflow like this one, all for free. Now, as a prerequisite to this, I'm going to assume that you have n8n running locally on your laptop, and you can do that with a Docker container. So I'll talk about that in another video. If you need help with that, let me know in the comments. But you can run this locally in Docker. And then you also need LM Studio, which is a application that lets you run AI LLM agents on your computer. So the first step is to set a scheduling node. You can run this manually, but I like to run it every day, so we'll put it on a schedule node every day at midnight. The next thing we're going to do is gather our data, and we're going to use Reddit for this. So we'll use an HTTP node, HTTP request, and for the URL, what you need to do is find a subreddit that's related to your content. So as an example, I'm going to use the Japanese learning subreddit. Now when you go to your subreddit of choice, there's filters for best and new. So we're going to use /new. That will bring us the latest posts on the subreddit. And then what you want to do is add .json to the URL and copy that. So when you go to .json, it turns the page into JSON, which is what n8n can use. So we'll paste that into the URL, and you can execute step to test that it worked. And you'll see it gives us the JSON version of all those posts on the latest Japanese learning subreddit. So this is where our data is going to come from. The next thing we want to do is split this data up into individual chunks so that we can process it one at a time. We're going to be giving this data to an AI agent, and it's a lot easier for the agent to work on a small piece of data at a time. So we do that with a split out node. And this JSON is organized such that the data.children node is what has each post in it. So if we drag this children node into the fields to split out and then execute step, you'll see we went from 1 item to 25 items. And it's this table where each item is an individual post. Now we have each item, but if you look at the data, there's a lot of data we don't need. So we're going to give this to an LLM AI agent. We really only need the post text and maybe the post title. So we do that with a field edit node, or an edit fields node it's called. And all you have to do is drag the fields that you want onto that node. So for this, we're just going to grab the self text. And if you execute step, you'll see now we just have the self text data. So now we have our data. We use these 4 nodes to grab data and process it into something simple that AI can work with. Now the real magic behind this is going to be with an AI agent node. So we'll create an AI agent. We'll go to chat model, add a chat model, and for this we're going to choose OpenAI chat model, but we're not going to use OpenAI. We're actually going to use our local LLM. So in my case, in LLM Studio, I have downloaded the Google Gemma 3n. It's a 5 gigabyte file, and it's 4 billion parameters. I also have the OpenAI 20 billion parameter the open source one. So you can use whatever works for your laptop or your machine. You don't really need a big one for this. It's just going to be basically summarizing the data from Reddit. So in LM Studio, you just need to make sure you have in the developer settings, you need to make sure that the local server is running. And it will give you this URL. And you'll see it has endpoints OpenAI like. So this just means that LM Studio is providing these local LLM agents in a way that knows how to speak the same language as OpenAI's API. So applications that can talk to OpenAI can also talk locally to LM Studio. So in the OpenAI chat model, you'll create a connection, and all you need to do is put in any key, just a fake key in here, and then for the URL you'll paste host.docker.internal 1234/v1. And this is because since we're using Docker, we have to use this host.docker.internal instead of the URL that LM Studio gave us, which is 127.00.1. So this connected successfully, and what will happen is in this model list you'll see the models that you downloaded on your machine. So I'm going to pick the OpenAI one, and then for the prompt we're going to select define below. So now what we want to do is ask our question. So this is really where the magic is, and you can change this however you want. In my case, I'm just going to ask it for ideas. You could do things like ask it to only give you information based on a certain topic. So there's going to be a lot of posts on Reddit, and you could ask it to filter out things that you don't care about. In my case, just for an example, I'm just going to say read the below post and give me video ideas, 2 video ideas. And then what you want to do is make sure in the prompt you drag the text from that we got in our last node. Now one thing we're going to do before we run all this is put a limit on this, because it's going to send all 25 items to the agent, and that could take a while depending on your system. So go ahead and add a limit node, and we'll just limit it to 3 items. And you just want to connect the edit fields node to this limit node, and then the limit node to the AI agent. And if you click on that limit node and execute the step, you'll see it goes from 25 to 3 items here. Then when we execute the step, you'll see in LM Studio that it's sending the questions over to our local GPT OSS, and this is all free, so you're not paying for tokens or using any cloud models. This is all just on your machine. It's all private and secure and free. Now that completed, and you can see in the output here we have the 3 responses. And basically you can just stop here if you want, and you could come here every day and run this and read the ideas this way. So you can see video idea 1, 30-day N5 sprint daily mock test. Create a structured day-by-day plan that blends daily mock tests with targeted vocab, kanji, listening, and grammar drills. And you can go through this, and it's just going to come up with different ideas for videos based on the issues that people are posting, real people are posting on this subreddit. So that saves you some time from looking it up yourself. If you go back to the canvas, you could just come here and run this. You could also have this output, so if you add output to something like a Google Sheet, or I like to have mine get pinged to me on Discord using a Discord webhook. So you can do that so you don't actually have to come here and look at anything. It'll just get sent to your Discord and you can check it there. So that's it. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments.